Hey guys, it's Jennifer. Come and play, come and play, come and play. Oh my goodness. So, this is the fourth Facebook Live I've done in 4 days. And the impetus behind it was uh, my host in England, Ruth, was talking to somebody who was thinking about coming to the class, and I think they might. And they were saying that all of us talk so fast and all of us seem to know these tools inside out and backwards. And she didn't feel comfortable actually asking the questions so that she could get to a deeper awareness with these access consciousness tools. So if this is the first time you see my face, my name is Jennifer Kramer Lewis, and I'm an access consciousness certified facilitator. And access consciousness has been around for about 30 years. And it's based on asking questions to bring about an awareness that's your awareness about what to do next in your life. So it's not like, hey, do this thing and your whole life will get better. It's more like, hey, here are a bunch of different things you can choose. Which one of them actually makes you feel great? Which one of them actually invites you to a space of possibility and like hope and wonder and curiosity? We've got Julie, Cassie, Patricia, Michelle, hey Heather, Angela, Parita, thank you so much for joining. Oh my goodness, Heather came with us to England last year and she's going to come this year, I think. My goodness, we had so much fun. And so, what would I love to talk to you guys about today? I would love to talk to you about, well, I'm going to tell you a little bit of story. So, when I was a kid, I was just so aware of how other people were feeling, and I had absolutely no way of looking after that or even any tools at all. Like junior high school was fucking awful. I felt horrible the whole time. Like horrible the whole time. And so I'm sure that a lot of you felt horrible throughout junior high. And so what we talked about yesterday and the day before, that you might just be picking stuff up on the psychic Wi-Fi. Well, I actually didn't have any tools to deal with that. And so my parents took me to the doctor. I got put on medication. I'm not sure if I actually got a counselor at that point, but I did have talk therapy, a lot of it throughout my life. And there are times where there really just are no words to convey how shitty you're feeling. And there are also no words to convey that you actually just want somebody to be the space of kindness. You know, you just want to like hang around with nice people. And so that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about today is, what if you could actually feel better without having to talk, without having to like disclose all the weird, wacky, and not so great things that may have happened in your life. Another time, I mean, gosh, I've had the strangest life. Another time, when my brother passed away, my employer that I worked for had an employee assistance program. So they signed me up for 10 sessions of counseling. And I would go to the counselor and basically like cry for an hour. And, you know, I would actually feel worse when I left my counseling appointment than better. And he was a very strange counselor in hindsight. He wanted to make it that I was more upset about my brother being gay than my brother being dead. I was like, oh my God, mister, I'm so not upset about my brother being gay. So not upset about that. So, and yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. What if there is a way of feeling so much better, feeling so much kindness, feeling so much inclusion and nurturing and nourishing energies without actually having to talk? Who would sign up for something like that? I would. Sometimes I just get so tired of talking, and which you might think, well, Jennifer, we see you on on here on Audacious TV, on your podcast. All you do is talk, lady. I do get tired of talking. And believe it or not, I'm actually introverted. I need lots of time where I'm not talking, lots of time where I'm just actually spending time with myself. And yeah, Cassie. Hey, Tanya. Hey, Fiona. So what I would love to invite you to is these Access Consciousness tools. And I was so surprised. Yes, there's a lot of cognitive tools with Access Consciousness, like it's question-based facilitation. So you've got this thing going on in your life, and I tap into some energies of maybe what could unlock that. And I start asking you questions about that. Okay, so that's one part of it. And then another whole different giant part of the Access Consciousness tools, our bodies. Oh, our bodies. And how sort of neglected and malnourished can we sometimes let our bodies get? Like I remember when I was single, I actually had a great massage therapist, and I used to go to my massage therapist, and he would like flirt with me, and it was so great. I'd get a great massage, and then I'd feel all sexy, and it was so great. And so many people out there just really need somebody to hold them, and not from a space of, oh, I can't wait to get your clothes off, but actually just, have somebody touch your head so nicely, or have somebody put their hands on your back so nicely, or somebody touch your feet so nicely. And so there's, oh my gosh, probably 60 different body processes. The first one that I would recommend is something called the Access Consciousness bars. And what it does is it removes the electricity from your brain. So when they hook up little electrodes to the brain to like watch your thought patterns and make sure your brain is functioning properly, well, what they're actually tracking is your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, the things that you're going to say, the things that you're not going to say. And those all create traffic on the neurons of your brain. And so if you have experienced trauma, which some of us have, if not all of us, because trauma is so completely different. Like it doesn't actually have to be you being attacked. It can be something that happened when you were two. Somebody snarled at you in the wrong way, and you really, really allowed that to come into your tiny little body. And so what these body processes start to do is undo the electromagnetic component of thoughts, feelings, emotions, and trauma out of every area of your body. And so there's so much available. Oh my gosh, I've seen so much. People, anecdotally, we don't actually have science assisting us with research on the body processes, but we do have two neuroscience, that's easy for me to say, studies on the bars, which is the light touch on the brain that starts to like delete all that traffic in your head. So it's like, I always joke, I'm like, sometimes does your brain feel like an episode of Hoarders? And people are like, yes, it does. Yes, it does. And I let them know that what it does is it just clears all that junk out of your brain. And so sometimes afterwards you feel like invigorated. You're like, oh my God, I actually have space to think. And then sometimes you're just like, oh my gosh, I actually have space to calm down. And so anywhere in between that is a possibility after you've had an Access Consciousness bars session. And so that's just one. In the foundation class, which has a terrible name and it's an amazing class, there's more. There's one that I talked about yesterday called biomimetic mimicry. And so that's just light touch on a couple parts of your back. And you just lay there and relax. And what it does is it starts to dissipate energies caught in those areas of your body related to having to fit in and having difficulty fitting in, and so many different things. And so, what that will do for you will be completely individual, but also you get to have somebody touch you. And not in a way where they're like, I'm going to take your clothes off, just in a kind, gentle way. And I'll tell you what, these body processes really can change things for people. Like Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, says that if you have over 300 sessions of biomimetic mimicry as a baseline, you will never be at the effect of anyone ever again. It's like the ultimate freedom. You can watch what people want from you. You can watch how people want you to fit in. You can watch it and be aware of it and never have to do anything to respond. That is the ultimate freedom. You are disconnected from the matrix of having to please people. And what would that be like for you, to never have to please people ever again? And you can still choose to. You can still be like, wow, that person really would love me to give them a hug right now. Does that actually work for me? Would I like to hug them? Yeah, I actually would like to hug them. And so you have the space, instead of you having, stimulus, being aware that somebody requires a hug, and then instant response that you absolutely have no choice, that you have to go in and hug that person to help them feel better. So if you're that kind of person, which I have never been, she said with a twinkle in her eye, this body process called biomimetic mimicry really starts to change things for you. You can actually run it on yourself. So if you come to a foundation class with any of our facilitators, they will teach you how to run it on yourself. They'll also teach you how to run it on other people. And then there's also body process classes. So have a look around. You might actually be able to get into a biomimetic mimicry class this week even. And so have a look at that one. And then the other one that I would really love to talk to you about is something called MTVSS. And I think it's Molecular Transvalence Sloughing System. And so I know that that sounds like something from Star Trek, and it probably is a little bit Star Trek-y in what it's able to do. So in order for a cell to change, it has to slough a valence. And so stress-wise, when you're stressed out, your cells actually go like this. They squish. And so you may feel that sort of congested, squished feeling. I've never felt that, she said with a twinkle in her eye. So when you go into the cellular structure, you can actually ignite it with this hands-on energetic healing called MTVSS. And so there's been anecdotally so many reports of people having incredible illnesses exit their body just with this MTVSS body process. And so you can actually run it on yourself. You can just just say, like, maybe you're clenching. You can just turn it on. And, say you're just like really freaking out. You can put your hand on your heart and your belly button and turn it on. Or you can run it on bones. You can run it on joints. You can run it on your muscular structure. You can run it on your whole spine at the same time. You can run it on your nervous system and your spine at the same time. And so what if you're done talking and you just want to have a beautiful session with somebody where there's no talking? Who would sign up for that? Me. And just the level of kindness, the level of embodiment, like actually getting back in your body. There was a lot of my life where I swear I was just, almost like a peeping Tom, watching my whole life going by, not in my body at all. And so that could be some of the reason why I didn't have a great life. I wasn't even driving my own bus. And so what would it be like Do you guys have any questions? Meow. Who do we have to play with here? Got Julie, Cassie, Patricia, Michelle, Heather. Hey, Heather, you love MTVSS. Oh, and cellular memory is another one. When we were in England last year, we ran cellular memory right on people's faces. And cellular memory is another one where you invite the cell to go back to its original factory settings. That's the best way I have to describe it. And so, if you have aging, if you have a scar, if you have an injury that happened in that area, then you can run this thing called cellular memory on it. It's pretty groovy. We've got Angela. Hey, Angela, Parita, Julie, Cassie, Fiona. Hey, guys, Tanya. Oh, Tanya, I've been watching your yoga videos. You're so beautiful. Veronique, Jamie Joy, Sangeeta, Chris, Kent. Hey, guys. Yes, that is ultimate freedom, isn't it? Yeah, Heather. So do you guys have any questions about these body processes? I would love to actually give you some more information about what's available. I'll tell you what I've seen. I've seen people choose to not have cancer anymore by using these body processes. I've actually experienced myself. I had a client that had a tumor in her pituitary in her brain, and we ran bars, and then she didn't have a tumor anymore. And yeah, so much. I mean, I don't have actual research that bars were the reason why the tumor went away. There was no other explanation, but it could be. And what else have I seen? Like, I know for a fact that Gary has really created some amazing, miraculous things with MTVSS, and other facilitators have created amazing results with MTVSS, and also biomimetic mimicry and all the other body processes. Oh my gosh. I know someone else who had a pretty big scar on her stomach from an operation, and she ran cellular memory on that and just made it disappear. And she is 100% sure that that's how it disappeared. So you can ask her. They aren't as effective running them on yourself, or it just takes more sessions. I've heard both. What I know, Andrea, is when I and you get together and we put our energetic fields together, you as the receiver and I as the gifter, what happens is exponential. When you run them on yourself, they are effective. They are just not as effective, and they're not as dynamic. So imagine, remember when we were little kids where, well, maybe you always lived in a city, but I lived out in the country, and we had these like rabbit ears on the TV, and we had to move the rabbit ears around to try to find the TV shows that we wanted to watch. So yes, we could watch TV, but we could only watch 3 channels. Whereas when you're working with a practitioner or swapping with another person that knows how to do the body processes, the results are exponential. It's like cable TV. It's full test. So don't let not having somebody to swap with stop you from running these body processes on yourself. I run body processes, that's easy for me to say, on myself every single day. Sometimes I'll go to bed at night and run some of my bars. I'll get my implant band running and then just block my my elbows up on pillows and just fall asleep running my own implant band. Please don't let having nobody to swap with stop you. Also, if you are a little bit of a hermit, there's no hermits around here. Please don't let that stop you from, one, inviting people show them a couple of points. They're not going to be practitioners officially, but you could totally show other people how to run your implant band. I totally taught both of my kids how to run my bars, and they haven't been to a class yet, but we're going to remedy that soon. And yeah, just don't allow any of your points of view about maybe even having people touch your body. Like another one I heard was, and I hear this all the time, is, don't you pick up energies from your clients? Like, do you feel exhausted at the end of the day when you've been working on your clients? And the answer is yes, sometimes, but only when I have allowed the session and their points of view to come into my body. Like the best way to describe it is like you can just stream that energy right through your body. You don't actually have to pick up any of it. I think some of the reasons why we can pick up energies from bodies is we think we need to fix them, is the first one. So you can let go of that point of view. You will never pick up any of the energies of bodies. Number two is you agree with them that they have a problem. If you never agree with them that they have a problem that needs to get fixed, then you can't pick up their energy and have it stuck in there. So, and then there's a bunch of different derivatives of that. So those are the two great ways that you can end up feeling exhausted by running bars or body processes on people. One, you're not fixing them. And two, they don't need to get fixed. They're just doing this, and it's a way that they can feel great. And it's a way that they can be disconnected from the points of view that they actually need to get fixed. So have a look at that. Cassie says, I do them every day too, and I'm always eager to receive them from others. Well, and it's interesting. Like I remember when I went to India for a 7-day event with Access Consciousness. That's one of the events that you can choose after you've gone to the foundation, and the choice of, well, bars first, then foundation, then choice of possibilities, and then you can choose a 7-day event amongst other events with Access Consciousness. So it was me. I'm like, oh, the whole world is nice. Everybody's nice. And a bunch of other beautiful people who are all like, oh, what can we do? What can we learn? How much fun can we have? And I remember Gary talking to us about awareness, and he really wanted us to know that not every single person we meet has the capacity to be kind. They just don't. And so what these body processes have done for me is allow me to be so aware of, is this somebody I would actually invite home for dinner? Is this somebody I would actually want to spend time with and be friends with? Is this somebody who is a good client for me? Is this somebody who I would invite into a long-term client relationship? And these body processes have given me so much awareness, because what can happen is we just let everybody to our party, and then at the end of it, we're exhausted. We have not been nourished by the relationship at all. We actually can't receive from these people. And so what I would love to invite you to is there are people who ignite you. There are people who, when you spend time with them, you feel just so like nourished and relaxed and happy and, like grateful that they're in your life. And you will know more after having these body processes about who these people are. And then also your energy will start to change. I was thinking this morning about what I was going to talk to you about. And there was a big part of my life where I was so frustrated. I was so angry. And I definitely wasn't one bit fucking grateful about anything. And so guess what? I invited a whole lot more of that energy into my life. And then, that just steamrollered me every day, all day. And I didn't have the ability to get out of it. And so these body processes, especially biomimetic mimicry, especially MTVSS, and oh yeah, the bars really removed that anger from my body. And it wasn't even my anger. It was anger that was impelled on me from my childhood, And, like my parents were just really frustrated people. And I had a naturally healing body. And so I kept going into their world, trying to like dodge the bullets of the anger to see if I could heal them. And by dodging the bullets of the anger and thinking, one, that it was my job to heal them, and two, that they actually needed to be healed, I ended up with a whole bunch of these things that we call implants and explants. And so basically, it's just energy knots in your body and in your brain and in your energetic field. And so you probably know where they are. There may be spots on your back that have really defied massage. There may be parts of your brain that you're just like, God, I can't even think of that. It makes me furious. Or I can't even think of that. It makes me want to cry. So that would be a sign that you have some implants in your brain. And then in your energetic field, what I notice for that is you may have sort of a force field in certain areas of your life. When somebody brings up a topic, your energetic field just goes, you're not talking to me about that. And so these body processes, the bars, are so kind, because guess what? It's not about talking. It's just about receiving. And we haven't actually been given the information about how to receive. Like most of us think receiving is, what do I need to do in order to get what I want? Or what do I have to give to this person? Or what does this person want to do to me? And is that something that I actually want them to do to me? And, it's so funny, like how much programming is out there about, even when somebody flirts with you, like my danger dar would just go off so hard when somebody flirted with me. I didn't even get to receive any of it, which is kind of bad. Now that I'm in my 40s, I'm like, shit. All that flirting that I could have been doing. So much fun I could have been having. But like, gosh, my danger dar would just go like beep, 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 which is a really great sign that I had energetic explants preventing me from having any fun with flirting with anybody. That's too bad, hey? So guess what? I've removed most of them. I'm planning on flirting for the next 200 years of my life. In fact, let's get more of those energy explants out of my flirt zone, because I would love to have so much more fun flirting with people. And I'll tell you what, people love it when you can be present in your body. People love it when you smile back. People love it when you flirt back. And you always have ultimate choice. You always, especially once you've had some of these body processes, have ultimate awareness. You can start to ask questions like, wow, if I flirt back with this person, what results will I get? What kind of outcome will be here? And you can learn to tap into other people's bodies. Like, wow, that person will really start to like be interested and be willing to contribute to your life. And it actually doesn't go to them, wanting to like grab your boobs, or you know what I mean? There are so many more nice people out there than I was led to believe. And fun people to flirt with, and that I didn't actually have to go to bed with. And so, yeah, I want to leave you with this. These body processes are so dynamic on so many different levels. And I have a vision of a world where people have that amount of awareness, where, you can flirt with somebody and it doesn't mean anything to either of you. And you can have fun with people. You can actually put your hands on people's bodies and contribute to them, and they can receive it. And it doesn't mean anything other than generosity of spirit, other than like ultimate receiving. And I'll tell you what, on this planet, most people think that receiving is an exchange of something. It's, what do I have to do to get what I want from this person? And then also it's, what does this person plan on doing to me to get what they want from me? That's the lowest fucking common denominator. And what if there are so many other ways of receiving? You know, receiving the sunshine, receiving the beautiful smell of the flowers, receiving the hum of the planet Earth, you know, receiving the twinkle of the stars, receiving other people's genius and brilliance, receiving gorgeous music and amazing art and fabulous design and like unbelievable beauty. And, you know, these amazing talents that my friends have. Like, oh my gosh, I just am flabbergasted with how gorgeous my friends are and how gorgeous my clients are. Like, it's just absolutely amazing the amount of receiving that I have been doing in my life since receiving these body processes. Like, I'm like, oh, so thrilled, so grateful. So, I started this with a question called, ever thought I wish someone would just be nice to me for no specific reason, just because? So a question that you can ask today is, universe, show me somebody who is generous. Because when they're nice to you, sometimes you feel an agenda. When they're generous, there's almost always no agenda. And so have a look at that. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Jennifer Kramer Lewis, and you can find me in a place called the Audacious Ask Academy. I go live every Monday that I'm available with something called the Audacious Ask, and we start to ask to receive more in every single area of our lives and receive some fun free facilitation from me and start to change things. And that's my pleasure to offer that to you. Yes, there's recordings. You know, if you don't show up, you can actually get the recordings. So go ahead and register for that. I'm going to get Cassie to put the link for that in the comments. And if you see this later and you have any questions about what I'm presenting, please either put them in the chat. Make sure to put my name, Jennifer Kramer Lewis. I have this question. And I would love to give you some information. And I would love to be the invitation that your body will show you how to receive so much more in every area of your life when you start to have these body processes. How does it get any better, guys? Thank you so much for tuning in.